Hey there guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios, and I've got a really big update for you guys right now. I've teamed up with Black Octopus Sound and they have released my newest sample pack, which is called Neurofunk Drums. This is a sample pack aimed at drum sounds, really crispy, punchy drum sounds that you hear a lot in Neurofunk drum and bass. So I've been focusing a lot on drum and bass recently, and I've been making this sample pack basically because I needed a bunch of good sounding drum samples and loops, and the pack actually ended up being really big. It's 1500 samples and loops that are included with the pack. This video I'm gonna give you a little look into the audio demo. We're just gonna play this through, and I'm just gonna open up the drums group so that you can actually see what I've done with the samples. Pretty much everything right here in the top group, so that's the drums group, that light blue one, that's pretty much everything that is coming from the pack itself. These are the basses and some atmospheric and effect sounds. Those are not really part of the pack. I'm thinking about doing another pack like this, but then one aimed at bass sounds, and I'm also thinking about doing one aimed at synths, atmospherics, and maybe even effect sounds. So what do you get with the pack? I can actually show you. Let me just switch over to Ableton without the webcam, and so I can show you what comes with the pack. This is the pack itself right here, and you can see we've got crashes, 40 crashes. Then we've got a whole bunch of ghost kicks, which are basically just smaller and a little bit lighter kick drums that you can use in between your main kick and snare to give it a little bit more groove. It's something that's used a lot in drum and bass, and I wanted to put some in there. I've done the same thing for the snares, ghost snares. So those are really tight, really tiny, high-pitched sounding snares. Stuff that's gonna, well, really help you to give more rhythm to your drums. Then we've got, I think, 150 hi-hats. These are both open and closed hi-hats, so there's a lot of stuff in there. Then we've got one of the main categories, which is the kick drums. Now I've included a couple of longer 808 kicks, which I actually have used in the audio demo during the second half. And other than that, I've just put in a lot of kick drums, 150 kicks. And then we've got a whole lot of percussion. You can see we've got a lot of percussion, and there's actually some more percussion in here, which are processed percussive hits. So these are actually hits that I recorded from a percussive instrument, and I just processed them to sound, well, different and more suited for neurofunk, I would say. So then we've got some rides. Always good to have a good amount of pitched rides. Then we have a whole lot of snare drums. Now these snares are really big as well, so they're really punchy. They'll instantly punch through a good bass line. I mean, that's pretty much what I try to do with these samples, to really make samples that will cut through your basses and your synths without doing too much sidechain compression. So then we have one more group, which is the toms, which is also good to have. And then I have two FX folders. Now the first folder is just a bunch of designed hits, so these are really big sounding hits that I designed myself. And then there's a folder with 230 Foley samples. So these are actually samples that I recorded myself with my field recorder. I went out, I recorded a whole bunch of things, like basically I sat next to the water and just threw a bunch of logs in the water and recorded the splashes and stuff like that. So those are really helpful to layer on top of your drums, to layer on top of your snares, or just to give your track a bit more character. So then I've got a bunch of loops that I made for this pack as well, because I mean, one-shot samples are good. We all want one-shot samples, but we also love to use loops. I mean, loops are what's gonna make it more easier for you to actually fill up your drums. I mean, you can make your own loops with the one-shots, that's a thing, but I actually put some loops in there to show you what you can do with these one-shots. Now, I've got a whole bunch of breaks in here that I made myself. So these are just breaks, these are pretty much full drum loop kind of things. What I would do is just high pass these and layer them in your drum track. Maybe chop them up and rearrange them. You know the deal, it's always good to have those. Then I have a bunch of cymbal and hi-hat loops, so these are just a little bit more top-end high-end loops, so those are always good to have. So then we've got a folder of drum fills. Now these are just There's a couple of shorter fills in there, but there's also a couple of longer fills in there. Just to give you some ideas, maybe you can find some inspiration from these fills and create your own. I mean, there's a folder with, what is it? 140 toms, so you can actually create really cool drum fills with those. And then we have the main loop category, which is the percussion loops. I created 130 percussion loops, and some of them have a couple of variations. Others are just processed and, you know, rearranged and pitched down loops, and I've done a lot of stuff to create these. So that is everything that comes with the pack. It's 1500 samples and loops, all made by me. They're all really crispy, really punchy, so that they're all good for Neurofunk. Now, if you don't make Neurofunk, but if you make any other genre and you're just looking for heavy hitting drums, get this pack. I mean, the fact that this pack is made for Neurofunk doesn't mean that the samples are only good for Neurofunk. If you want to make a really heavy hitting hip hop track, the drums will be good as well. I haven't been doing too much on the channel lately. That's been because I was working on this pack. There's a lot of work involved in this one, and I've just been really busy, so there haven't been really that much videos. There's a lot more stuff coming up as well. A lot of you guys have been emailing me about where they can buy my sample packs right now, and you know, because since my site is down, basically they started asking me where can I get your sample packs. I've been talking with Black Octopus Sound, and they will release all my previous sample packs as well, so expect those to be coming on their web store as well. So if you guys want to get one of those packs, they will be available, and well, soon. I don't have a specific date yet, but they will be available soon. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. The product link, the link to the product, can be found in the description below this video. That's it for this video, and I hope to see you back soon. Peace!